If you recently saw that your student loans dropped your credit score about 150, 200 points because they're showing up as delinquent, I don't have a hook for you. I'm just going to dive straight into this video. Now, the timestamps are going to be in the description. So I want to start off by educating you a little bit on the why, because I'm going to show you exactly how you can go about getting your student loans put back to on time and not delinquent, because yeah, it's crazy out here. And I got my notes because I'm not playing. So if you're ready, I just want you to like this video, subscribe, share it with a friend. I know you didn't go to college by yourself, and let's go. When most people think about disputing their student loans, they're going to think about FERPA because of Elon Musk and Doge going into the Department of Education. They're going to think about the FCRA, the FDCPA, and the CFPB, to be honest. But the CFPB is a watchdog. The FCRA and the FDCPA are not the only consumer laws that are out there. They're probably just the ones that you know because they're the most popular. But there's other violations that you can use to challenge the delinquency status of your student loans to get them put to back on time. So that way you can see your score go back up. I'm going to show you how to use consumer law, but I want to break it down so if you have to take this a little bit further in the future, at least you have a place that you can start. I want to put a disclaimer though, my student loans are paid off. They were in collections at one point, but they're paid off. So any of the things that I'm telling you to do are only going to be things that I would attempt to do with a client who has student loans on their credit report that I'm helping them dispute. Most people only think of the CFPB, the FCRA, and the FDCPA, but consumer law actually is more than that. The laws at play that you are going to want to challenge are going to include the Higher Education Act, because there's violations there, the Consumer Financial Protection Act, because although we do have the CFPB, there's violations with that act as well. And depending on the state that you live in, you probably have some consumer protections that your student loan servicer likely violated. But let's stick to the main points, okay, in our disputes. And I'll include a script on screen in case you're watching this part. Good for you. I love education. And also what you can put in your dispute letters. We're going to leverage 15 USC 1681S-2. Another disclaimer. Legally Blonde is one of my favorite movies, but I am not a lawyer. I do not play one on TV, okay? So if you have legal questions, please consult a actual licensed attorney. All right. So 15 USC 1681S-2, loan servicers must report only accurate information. Before we get any deeper into that, let's jump to 20 USC 1083E, which basically says if your student loan status changes, that means if your forbearance ends, deferment ends, if there's a new repayment schedule that is made, the servicer is supposed to notify you. That is a requirement. It's not an option. So if we go back to 15 USC 1681S-2, where it says that the loan servicer has to report accurate information, meaning if you woke up in March and you saw that you had a 90-day late, it could be false and misleading because 20 USC 1083E said you were supposed to notify me of that change. Now, so we can put a little bit more sauce onto this, 20 USC 1080A talks about how the loan servicer cannot report your loan as delinquent until it's at least 90 days late. And not notifying you could be a violation of that because, again, they were supposed to notify you of the status change of your loan, which would have meant if you never got any type of notification that your forbearance had actually ended from your loan servicer. And I know this was all over the news, but the last time I checked, CNBC was not servicing your loans. Nelnet and Mohela and whoever else was. They should have notified you that your forbearance had ended. And that way, when you did become 90 days late, then that delinquency that was placed on there would not be false or misleading. Another violation that we need to consider happens to be the Consumer Financial Protection Act, which is going to fall under 12 USC 5531. And this just basically talks about how the CFPA prohibits abusive acts, practices by financial service providers, including student loan servicers. So again, if your student loan servicer failed to notify you that the forbearance had ended and they just went ahead and put the 90 days late on your credit report and dropped your score 140, 200 points, they have violated the CFPA, the HEA, and the FCRA. Whenever we're disputing late payments, the goal is really to get these late payments to be updated to on time, because that's going to help your score more than if the late payments were just changed to no data, or if you remove these student loans from your credit report because you've had these loans for quite some time. Taking these off your credit report, probably it's going to lower your score because of the credit age and the credit mix, depending on what the rest of your credit report looks like, yada, yada, yada. But I want you to take from here and really push on not only just your loan servicer, but the credit reporting agency. So let's start out by what you should be saying to your loan servicer. Basically, you're going to point out the violations that have been made against you, the lack of notification that you were out of forbearance in the first place, their responsibility that they had to actually notify you that forbearance was ending, and the undue hardship that they have caused you. Knowing all of this, because it is also their responsibility to know that they are not violating your consumer rights. Now, I'm all for one for leveraging laws at play, and we've already seen the CFPB, despite the fact that they have turned the lights off, we've seen them successfully sue Navient. We've seen them take away the ability to service federal student loans from Navient and force the transition of whatever loans they had in their portfolio to other loan servicers. The same exact thing can happen to any of these other loan servicers, despite whatever is happening at the CFPB, because you don't need the CFPB to sue on your behalf. You can get with the attorney, you can sue pro se. You have the right to defend yourself against these unfair practices, and you should. And when you are talking to them on the phone, you want to point these things out and you want to put the pressure on them. And that might mean that maybe the first representative you get on the phone doesn't want to play ball. Cool. Ask them for their name. Say, what's your name again? Because I'm probably going to call back. And then call back and just put the pressure again on the next representative that you get on the phone. Now, while you're doing this, I still want you to dispute with the credit reporting agencies. So let's jump into what you should be including in your dispute letters. When you're sending in your dispute letters, you want to make sure that some type of action is going to take place, and to have a reason and not be so vague in your dispute will make it a lot easier for you to get a better outcome, because 9 times out of 10, the system called eOscar is actually the one reading your dispute letter. It's not a human being, to be honest. But if it is, it's likely that they have a team overseas that is reading your dispute letters, and you don't want your letter to be misinterpreted in a way where someone might accidentally take this off your credit report, because that does happen too. So the reasons that we're going to give are going to be all of the violations that apply to our particular situation, and remind the credit reporting agency that is their responsibility to conduct a reasonable investigation. Now, if somebody were to accuse me of something and I know I didn't do it and I had evidence that I didn't do it, I would provide that evidence, so that way a reasonable investigation would have been able to take place. This is not the time for trust me bro behavior, because we've already seen the CFPB sue Equifax successfully and get a settlement. We have seen them go after Experian, and as of the time of this recording, which is March 21st, I have yet to see that lawsuit actually be dropped, despite the fact that they have dropped enforcement against TransUnion, but that's another video, okay? Focus. We want to let them know that we have a notice of intent to possibly sue them if they don't conduct a reasonable investigation. Now, you can save that type of verbiage for your round 2 letter if you want to get more aggressive, or if you just want to come out the gate and say, hey, do this investigation because these are my reasons to dispute, and these should not be reported as late. These should technically be reported as on time, because it's likely, if you look at your credit report, while you were in forbearance, you were having that account or several accounts, depending on how your student loans are divvied up on your credit report, reported as on time. And don't forget to like this video, comment down below your school's mascot, if it was an animal, your favorite color, whatever. I just hope that YouTube does push this out into the algorithm, because I know a lot of people are stressing about their credit scores just being demolished overnight with little to no warning. And if you do like credit repair tips and credit building hacks, make sure you hit the subscribe button.